Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I decided that since I'm in the process of this whole publishing career thing, I may as well talk about some of my favorite books, which are some of them in the genres of what I write. I write in multiple genres. Some of them in the genres of what this first book will probably be, assuming all goes well. There's still 500,000 things that could impede this process. But anyways, the book that finally got me rethinking about writing again. And let me just explain for a split second that part of the story, which is that I used to write a crap ton as a kid meaning up through like 21-ish. But then I stopped because I sent my first completed real thing. I had completed other things, but my first completed real thing, the first 3 chapters, to a publisher that was still in these dark ages, taking unsolicited manuscripts, and they said no. And so I was like, oh, I'm a terrible writer, I guess. Okay, that's fine. I will never write again. And I didn't. But then I read this book, Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, which you probably know as the movie Love, Simon. Let's move it closer to the camera. I remember seeing the trailer for Love, Simon and thinking, wow, a mainstream Hollywood movie about that, a gay kid, romance for a gay kid, that's awesome. I can't believe such a thing exists. Like, it would have never even occurred to me to write that, even though it had sort of kind of occurred to me, but I used to think that what I was going to write was like fantasy, and not like a kid's fantasy and not a teen fantasy, but like when you go to a bookstore and you go to the fantasy section, that genre fantasy, like adult fantasy. I used to always think I was going to be like the next J.R. Tolkien, but I might have a gay character in there. That didn't end up happening. But anyways, I read other way around, this book, and I was like, oh, people are writing about gay characters. I guess I skipped part of the story. So I saw that the movie was coming out, but I saw that it was based on a book, and I'm a weirdo, and if a movie's coming out that's based on a book and I'm gonna watch the movie, 9 times out of 10, I will read the book first. And so I did. I read the book and I loved it, then watched the movie and I loved it. And the movie is interesting because it's a pretty faithful adaptation, at least as far as the vibe and the themes and the characters and all of that go. They minorly, I meant to say, change a couple little details here and there, but for the most part, it is extremely faithful to the book. The one main change they did, I fully support, which is the title. I love Becky Albertalli, the author, but it's quite a clunky title, especially considering the audience, young adults. It's exactly the kind of title that if it were a literary novel, which just means more poetic, very serious, meant for adults writing, this is the kind of title that would make total sense for that. But for the style of book that it is, which is contemporary commercial, young adult, Love, Simon makes a heck of a lot more sense. So the movie got that right. And then they also changed a couple tiny little things to kind of throw you off the scent as far as who Simon's inevitable romantic partner turns out to be. But anyways, I love the book. I still love the book. And she's written several others in the same universe since, and I've read all of those, and I love them, and I met her once. In fact, I probably have a picture here of my partner and I meeting her and probably another writer. She's awesome. She's absolutely delightful in person and as a writer. But I will say that when I read the book, I thought, I get it that kids these days have it so much easier about coming out and whatnot than they do in my day. In fact, something that might be interesting to know is since this book has come out, the publishing world is already done with this concept, the concept of coming out. Almost all agents that I queried were like, we've kind of moved past the coming out thing. That's been done enough. We're not really doing the coming out thing. And a couple of my books were not about the main character coming out, because in most of them the main character is already out, but about like his love interest coming out or something like that. Like, no, coming out stories are all done. We don't do those anymore. So this one kind of killed that, but for good, for the best. That's great. The problem, however, that I had with it, like I said, is that it was so easy for Simon because he didn't even have to worry. His parents were obviously super duper liberal. Even his dad was like totally cool with gays and stuff. Like, not all of us had such an easy go of it. And I kept thinking about my partner who grew up in a religion that straight up says, no, you can't. You either marry a woman or you're celibate for your entire life. If you want to stay associated with not just us, the church, but your family, these are your choices. You cannot go do that gay thing. So as a result, and I hope I'm not telling too much of his story, he didn't until age 25. So I get a little emotional just thinking about that kind of thing. So as a result, there are still plenty of kids out there who don't have as easy as Simon did. And I get it. There have been plenty of other books and movies that already take care of that, but I haven't necessarily read them or seen them. So for me, when I read this, I was like, whoa, okay, I guess it's just so easy that it's not a problem anymore. Then why is Simon having such a problem coming out to his parents who are totally going to be cool with it? So I had a little bit of a problem with that. So I, not knowing that the industry had moved away from it, wanted to write my own story. It's not literally based on my partner's life, but it involves that exact same religion, and basically it's a no-go for somebody like him. And anyway, so I love the book. And I'm so excited that it exists and that it's pushed things forward as far as literature and movies go, that there could be a mainstream movie that's not like some indie sad film or something, but like a mainstream Hollywood happy film. That makes me so excited. And if it didn't exist, I don't know that I would have decided to write that manuscript. Now, as far as that manuscript goes, I doubt that one will ever be published, knowing what I know now about the industry, that basically it's done, it's over. Who knows, maybe after I'm a super, super famous writer, let's keep our fingers crossed, then some publisher might be like, oh, yeah, we can publish that, I guess. My point is, I probably wouldn't be writing anything. I wouldn't have an agent. I wouldn't have written 8+ books, 9 books, if this book didn't exist. So thank goodness for this book. And it's a really good book. So anyways, that's it for this video. I will be talking more about other books that I love. In fact, another one co-written by her and this other wonderful writer named Adam Silvera, I think might be the next video I do. But anyway, see you guys then. Bye guys.